Blue skies over Lane Stadium. Duke and Virginia Tech, one team 5-1, the other 3-3. Would you like to guess which is which? Here comes ACC Kickoff Live.
Glennon awaits the shotgun snap. Underwood in motion. Glennon takes it. He looks, guns it over the middle. Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown Underwood! Touchdown Wolfpack!
After a shocker last Saturday, it's a day full of questions that must be answered in the ACC. The Noles have been knocked out of the national title hunt. E.J. Manuel no longer getting Heisman hype. Will Florida State recover?
And the Duke Blue Devils are 5-1 and 2-0 in the ACC.
Next question, is Duke for real? The Blue Devils can become bowl eligible today in a game that's a true litmus test for a program on the rise. Can Miami pass a geometry test? Teams are leaving a path of destruction against the Hurricane D. Now add Gio Bernard to that equation. Lots of questions. We have answers. Do the math. A plus C plus C equals Kickoff Live. Next.
Over to the 10, at the 5. Touchdown.
Pound the alarm. Saturday, 11 a.m. Let's go. ACC Kickoff Live. I'm Jeff Fischel with former NFL and Georgia Tech running back Dorsey Levens and Riley Skinner, former quarterback, 4-year starter at Wake Forest. We're saying today is a day of questions. All right, Dorsey, what's the one question you absolutely want answered today?
A bunch of questions. Who's for real and who's playing pretend right now? From week to week, we just don't know what we're going to get. I'm kind of confused, Riley. I don't know what's going to happen today.
Especially in the Coastal Division. My question I want answered is Florida State. Are they for real a top 5 team, and do they believe that? I want to see them come out, have a dominating performance on defense, smother Boston College, and prove they're one of the best teams in the country.
Of course, trying to recover from that disappointing loss last week. The Noles, Clemson Tigers, NC State Wolfpack, all with one conference loss. Here are the standings in this year of the quarterback in the ACC with 10 returning starting quarterbacks. The division leaders, Maryland and Miami, they're the two schools that didn't have returning quarterbacks. And Duke is now 2-0 in conference thanks to a backup quarterback, Anthony Boone, who's played for injured Sean Renfree. The conference feels like my statistics exams in college. None of it makes any sense. Somehow I did pass. Game day means lots of ACC buzz. Kane Nash Sports keeps us current. Kelly Nash, what are you seeing?
Well, what we're seeing is a QB mystery over at Duke. Sean Renfree ready to return from his elbow injury against the Hokies. But what about Anthony Boone? He had a stellar performance backing him up last weekend through 4 TD passes. Well, Coach David Cutcliffe says he will be incorporating both QBs in the game plan, but hasn't yet named a starter. And it wouldn't be football season in the state of South Carolina without Steve Spurrier and Dabo Swinney taking shots at each other. Now, Spurrier told reporters this week LSU's Death Valley is the real Death Valley, and Swinney had a counter jab saying that USC is Southern Cal, not South Carolina. Guys, it's not even November, and these two are going at it.
They will, right? I mean, they go at it all year talking trash, and they've got about 6 weeks until the game.
That's a year-round trash talking right there.
All right, thanks, Kelly Nash. K-Nash Sports, that's her Twitter handle. You can follow us on Twitter at the ACCDN. Time for the Saturday menu brought to you by Ruby Tuesday, Dorsey, the Blue Devils, and the Hokies.
I got to go with the Hokies. They're playing in Blacksburg, and Duke has never, ever won there, so I don't think it's going to change.
Riley, North Carolina and Miami are both 4-2.
Gio Bernard versus Duke Johnson, the two most electrifying players in the Coastal Division, in my opinion. It could be another record day for Gio Bernard if Miami defense keeps playing the way they have. They're by far the worst right now in the conference.
Dorsey, a border battle, Maryland and Virginia.
Maryland's defense is still playing exceptionally well. UVA has quarterback issues amidst a 4-game losing streak. Got to go with Maryland.
And two teams who need to shake off disappointment. Boston College now 1-4 after losing to Army last week. Florida State, oh, we all saw it. A disappointing, disheartening, disconcerting disaster in the second half last week. E.J. Manuel knows it's likely cost them a shot at the national title, but they have to bounce back.
When you watch the film, like I said, it hurts. You know, it's really tough to see it because if you had just made, that play, the game would have been different. It would have been over with. So it's a hard pill to swallow, man, to be honest with you. But, you have to swallow and move on.
People were down. They were sad because they knew they let an opportunity slip by. But they also realized it's only one opportunity. Like I say, every game is a one-win, one-loss deal. No matter who you beat, it's a 12-game season. It's not a 3, 4, 5-game season. It's a 12-game season. And that's what makes college football so interesting. And there'll be a lot more of them for other folks probably. And hopefully we've learned our lesson. We'll move on. I think we will. I'm very encouraged and excited to move on to BC.
You know, everybody still understands we still have our goals in reach, and we just have to do our job and just win out.
Gentlemen, you've had disappointing losses in your careers. A coach, Jimbo Fisher, how does he motivate his guys, Dorsey?
He's just got to keep them uplifted and tell them that they still have some goals that they can reach. Although they're not in control of their own destiny anymore, they can still win a national championship. If you look around at the top 5, all those teams are going to play each other, the Big 12, the Pac-12, the SEC. There's parity in all those leagues, and they have to play each other. I think the national champion this year will have one loss. So with that being said, they still have to take care of business every Saturday. Even though they can't control what happens around the nation, they can control their football team, and they have to go out and play effective every Saturday and win out and let the chips fall where they may.
I agree. The one thing you can't do, I think, as players and coaches, is start playing scenarios in your head about if we win this and this team loses, we can get ourselves a national title. Because once you start looking ahead, something like what happened to them last week at NC State, it will happen. And especially in the ACC, where there's so much parity, you have got to show up every Saturday. And look, they still got the ACC, the Atlantic side and the division, in their grasp. So I don't think you can start saying the world is crumbling down for this team.
Against BC at 5:30 today, is there any chance they come out like zombies, like from The Walking Dead, and they're just not into it today?
I don't see it. I think they come off angry, and I want to see on defense smother Boston College, and on offense keep your foot on the gas. That's what they did not do in the second half against NC State last week.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think the key for Florida State is to come out strong. You don't want to have a hangover from last week. You want to come out, like you said, put your foot on the gas, throw the ball up and down the field, see if you can't get that run game going, and see if your defense can't get after Chase Reddick, because he's a pretty effective quarterback.
This is the 4th time in the past 12 years that a Florida State team started the year 5-0, then lost its 6th game. Each time that's happened, the Noles rebounded right away, twice with big wins over Duke. We'll see what the Noles do against, like you mentioned, Dorsey, Chase Reddick, who leads the ACC in passing yards per game.
That was why I was brought here to Duke, was to catch the football and make plays.
Conor Vernon has proven he's the best, now #1 all-time in ACC history. Vernon and his Duke teammates have a chance to make some history today. Plus, mid-season report cards. The Wolfpack gets extra credit for their upset. Clemson is as advertised. Is 3-3 good enough for Wake? Does Georgia Tech need to go to study hall? Professors Levens and Skinner hand out grades next. And 3 teams are still undefeated in conference. Who had Maryland, Duke, and Miami? Anyone? Anyone? It's proof that the ACC stands for all confused and chaotic. Is parity good for the conference? It's sparking an intense debate.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
I'm Jeff Fischel with another ACC Now and Then, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Last week, Mike Glennon led NC State over third-ranked Florida State in dramatic fashion. In 2001, another Wolfpack quarterback upset a top 10-ranked Seminoles squad as ACC all-time leading passer Phillip Rivers led NC State to a huge win in Tallahassee, 34-28. Go to rubytuesday.com/ACC to win 2 tickets and a VIP experience to the ACC Football Championship.
Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Enjoy our lobster and sirloin dinner, only $14.99 for a limited time.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, videos, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps.
Good afternoon, Chase Sapphire. This is Stacy from Springfield.
Oh,
Hello?
yes, I didn't realize you'd be talking to an actual person.
You don't need to press 0. I'm here.
Reach a person, not a prompt, whenever you call Chase Sapphire.
And there's
fires Orange into the end zone, touchdown. And it's Nuke Hopkins who burned Florida State, lobbing toward the end zone. Hopkins, and did he catch it? He caught it, touchdown. Oh, what a grab.
Throws it deep down the field, Porter set. He's got it at the 10, at the 5, touchdown. Rose, end zone, Dorsey, he's got it, touchdown.
Touchdown, Boston College, Alex Amadon. Take a bow. The Eagle in the end zone, Alex Amadon.
To the 20, Campanaro to the house.
Rice throws across the field, Campanaro is open. He has the first down. A nice catch, Campanaro.
Caught by Conor Vernon at the 24. Outraces the tackler, 2 tacklers, 3 into the end zone for the touchdown. Conor Vernon inside the 10, to the 5, to the house, touchdown.
So here he is, the leading receiver in ACC history, Duke's Conor Vernon. Duke is 5-1. Conor, how does it feel?
It's unbelievable. We can't. This is what we set out to do at the beginning of the year, and to finally see that coming into play, it's been great.
I assume on campus now you guys are getting a lot of attention, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The buzz around Duke is definitely Duke football right now, and we're excited to see that, and I know the campus is excited for what's to come.
Your next win would be your 6th, making the Duke Blue Devils bowl eligible. What's it feel like building a program and getting to a bowl game, especially in your senior year?
It'd definitely just be the cherry on top for my career here at Duke, like I said before. And this is why I came to Duke, to put this program back to where it belongs and turn it around. Just to and see Coach Cud's vision, what he told me 4 years ago, really starting to come into play. It's been great, and if I had to do it all over again, I would have done the same thing.
Have you ever gotten frustrated over the years with the slowness of the process, or you feel like you always knew where you guys would end up?
Yeah, it was a little frustrating at times, just because like last year, we let a lot of games slip away from us. We were a lot better than what 3-9 showed. And this year was just, a different attitude around the program and around the locker room, and that's why I feel like we've been so successful.
Okay, for you, you're now #1 receiver in ACC history. You said it last Saturday against Virginia. What's it feel like to be the man who owns the record for receptions in a career? How's that feel?
It feels pretty good. That was why I was brought here to Duke, was to catch the football and make plays, and just to know how many great receivers have played in this league. It's real humbling to know that my name is long. And Duke's name, sits at the top of that record book. There's not much really I could ask for.
All right, now the catch that broke the ACC record, right? You lost yards. That's a tough one to brag about, isn't it, in 20 years?
Yeah, that was our part of the plan. We said before the game we're going to break the record on a loss, and then we were just going to go from there. So we just finally got it over with, and after that, Boone threw me another great ball, and I just was able to make a play on it and get points for my team.
All right, last thing. Duke is 2-0 in the ACC. Can we be thinking about Duke winning a division title, playing for the conference title?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the goal at the beginning of the year, just like every other team in this conference, was to play in Charlotte at the end of the year. And we're 2 games into that goal. We got 6 more to go. Easy, not easy games by any means. And we just got to come in every day with that attitude that we've been having, just wanting to work and get better each week, and see. Just take it one game at a time.
All right, senior Duke wide receiver Conor Vernon, the all-time receiver in ACC history, Saturday taking on Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. Good luck and have a great rest of the season, Conor.
Thank you very much.
Kickoff against the Hokies at 12:30. That means in about 4 or 5 hours from right now, we'll know if this team is for real. Do you think, fans? Do you think Duke is for real? Tweet us at the ACCDN. Dorsey, what do you think? Are the Blue Devils for real?
Well, like you said, we'll know better at about 4 o'clock if they're for real, because they're playing in Blacksburg today where they haven't won in forever. But right now, I think that's the biggest question at the midpoint season through the season. They're 4-72 against their next 6 opponents. So we're going to find out whether or not they're real. But last week was their most impressive win against UVA, down 17-14 at halftime. They come back in the second half and put up 28 unanswered to run away with that thing. Sean Renfrey didn't play the quarterback. Anthony Boone stepped in, threw for over 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. Conor Vernon set the record last week. And if the numbers don't lie, he's the greatest receiver to ever play in the ACC.
Well, look, I think they're for real. I definitely think their offense is for real. The only thing that I have a question on is their defense. I mean, their defense is what kind of has kept them out of a lot of wins over the last couple years. Right now, the offense is averaging over 30, almost 38 points a game. So, like you said, we're going to know a lot more because their next 5 games, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Florida State, Clemson, Georgia Tech. That's when we're going to see what kind of Duke team this is. But for right now, they've done everything they needed to make that argument that they are for real, and it's fun to see.
Now, Coach David Cutcliffe has not said whether we will see Sean Renfree or Anthony Boone or both at quarterback today. Does it matter to the Duke offense?
Watching Anthony Boone last week, it doesn't matter at all. One thing, he brings a little bit more of a run option. They had a great, a read option pass that went for a long touchdown. So I think you use them both effectively. I think it's a good little dual threat now.
Dorsey, quickly, the Hokies were in the preseason top 25. Their weaknesses are really being exposed, though, right now.
Yeah, they really are, and it really starts at the offensive line. You know they're going to have 4 new guys coming into the season. Now you have 2 of those guys hurt. The run game has never picked up where David Wilson left off last year. Defensively, just not the same Bud Foster type of team that we're used to seeing, a team where he has a lot of depth and he has the personnel to run that defense. This year doesn't seem to be the year for those guys.
It's great to see Duke on the rise. So Blue Devils fans, don't just turn the page to basketball season. We know you Cameron crazies love your hoops, but find some love for this football team too. With basketball season coming fast, that got us thinking. Let's bring in Nash Sports Kelly. We want to find out how much faith Duke fans have in the football team, right? So what did you ask them?
Not much, Jeff. Let me just tell you, not much. So we asked fans on Facebook.com/the ACC, choose between these options. Which one is more likely to happen this season? Duke football reaches ACC championship or Duke men's basketball reaches Final Four. Guess what? 73% pick Final Four. Guess you can't bet against 11 times in the last 26 years, guys.
History has certainly told us a lot about Duke basketball and Duke football, but of course David Cutcliffe and company trying to change that this year. Good luck to the Blue Devils on getting to that 6th win at the very least this season. North Carolina's number 26 was good for 262 last week. Gio Bernard had one of the all-time great days in ACC history. Next up, a struggling Miami D. Could he have even a bigger day today?
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, videos, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit the ACC. I'm Jeff Fischel with another ACC Now and Then brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Last week, Mike Glennon led NC State over 3rd-ranked Florida State in dramatic fashion. In 2001, another Wolfpack quarterback upset a top 10-ranked Seminoles squad as ACC all-time leading passer Phillip Rivers led NC State to a huge win in Tallahassee, 34-28. Go to rubytuesday.com/ACC to win 2 tickets and a VIP experience to the ACC Football Championship.
Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Enjoy our lobster and sirloin dinner, only $14.99 for a limited time.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Where does a great night out get even better? At the new Ruby Tuesday with our steak and lobster dinner for only $14.99. We've combined sweet lobster, steakhouse sirloin, and our free garden bar. Hurry in. This perfect pairing ends soon. The new Ruby Tuesday.
Duke and Virginia Tech. We're taking a live look. Color guard at Lane Stadium showing off right now. It's the 4th time it's ever happened. Incredible. Last week, North Carolina State, and Duke all won last Saturday. That's just the 4th time ever all 3 schools have won on the same Saturday. And of course, now, last Saturday, setting up potentially Duke for their first bowl game in 18 years. Last Saturday was a career day for North Carolina running back Gio Bernard. The UNC sophomore rushed for 262 yards in the Tar Heels' 48-34 win over Virginia Tech. Not only was it a personal best, it was also the 11th best rushing day in 60 years of ACC football. Bernard is 3rd in the ACC right now in rushing yards, even though he's only played 4 games. Remember, he missed UNC's games against Wake Forest and Louisville. Those just happened to be Tar Heels' 2 losses. Coincidence? Clemson's Andre Ellington and Florida State's Chris Thompson are 1-2. Is Gio the best back in the ACC? Tweet us at the ACCDN. All right, so we have arguably the best back, now fully healthy in the ACC, going against Miami defense, the Canes D, number 116 out of 120 FBS schools against the run. Dorsey, this is the perfect storm for Gio to potentially have, right, a huge day.
It really is. Coming off, like you said, the career high last week, 262 yards rushing. I think he's finally healthy now. We know we missed 2 games. Takes you some time to get back to 100%. But this guy's the real deal. He's fast, he's strong, he's powerful, he's elusive. We saw last week a nice spin move. We saw the stiff arm. He's also catches the ball out of the backfield, and he's dangerous as a punt returner. If Miami doesn't come to play today and come to tackle, he could have another one of those days today.
I agree with you. I haven't seen anything out of Miami right now that's making me think different, and everything Gio Bernard is doing making me like him more and more. He's one of the most exciting guys to watch in this football conference right now.
Miami giving up 376 yards rushing last week against Notre Dame. Dorsey, at this point, is that Miami D starting to doubt itself, you think?
They have to be, because they can't stop anybody. I think the only way you build confidence is to actually stop somebody. You saw the stats of where they rank in the nation in stopping the run. People have been running the football up and down the field. Until they actually stop somebody, the confidence is going to stay right where it is.
They're not getting any surge on that defensive line. I mean, the offensive lines they're playing against are getting right to their linebackers, and they're really opening up gigantic holes for the running backs. And again, and their secondary as well is giving up big play and big play and big play. So nothing right now is showing me that Miami's making improvements.
If you're curious and thinking ahead, the ACC record for single-game rushing yards, 329 by Wake Forest John Leach against Maryland in 1993. Could we see Gio have that kind of day? The Canes had a game to forget last week against Notre Dame, especially wide receiver Philip Dorsett. Kelly, give him credit. He's coming right out and responding to critics who have not been kind, right?
He is, and he's taking the high road by responding by completely dismissing it as part of the game. Now, after last week's loss against Notre Dame, he went to check his phone after the game to find a slew of nasty, disgusting, threatening tweets. Now, Canes fans did see this was going on Twitter. They had his back, fighting right back for him. He didn't have to say a word, but he did send out this tweet on Sunday. You know this guy's looking for redemption today. He tweeted, "I didn't play to my standard, but you better believe that will never happen again. It's going down next week." Now, Dorsey, Riley, we're in an age of high social media. This didn't happen with you guys. You guys didn't have this outlet to hear from.
No, we're dinosaurs, I guess. We didn't even have the internet when I was coming up, so we didn't have this issue. But I think if I'm a coach, I would ban my players from Twitter from the season, because you don't need the extra distractions. You don't need every fan's opinion. At the end of the day, nobody's opinion should matter except the guys in that locker room.
So you're just saying not just don't tweet out like Jimbo Fisher said. You're saying guys don't go on Twitter at all.
No, it's a distraction. Like Philip Dorsett said, you get all these nasty messages from fans, most of them whose identity is hidden, so you can't really fire back. He knows he had a bad game, and nobody feels worse than Philip Dorsett. He doesn't need to hear from everybody else about how bad he played. He's going to try to fix that. And forget about what everybody else says.
That's what I think. I mean, these kids it's not like they're coming out thinking, man, I really hope I have a bad game this week. I mean, they are putting their heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears out on the field, and they don't need criticism. They get enough criticism from their coaches in that film room, and they know personally what's going on. I hate that people take that, that low road and bash them on Twitter where, like you said, Doris, there's no identity involved, so they can say whatever they want. And even though it's somebody you don't know, you hear it, you read it, and it's got have some effect on you.
We've really seen some ugly behavior recently by fans. The Braves playoff game, throwing trash on the field. Chiefs fans booing Matt Castle when he got hurt. Guys, are things going too far, Dorsey?
I think so. I think to a certain extent. I don't think the fans understand how important the game is to players. Players care more than the fans do when you step on the football field. Nobody wants to win, like you said, more than the guys who prepared all week, who've battled all week in practice, who sat in meetings. Nobody wants to win more than those guys. So when you hear from other people, it's like this doesn't mean as much to you as it means to me. So why are you talking so much trash? I don't understand.
I couldn't agree more. +1 what he said.
One guy who's not getting any boos this week, North Carolina State's Mike Glennon. He could be elected the mayor of Raleigh, I think, right now, after this shocker against Florida State. I asked him about those late game heroics and about NC State's shot at a division title next. And then we'll have the great debate. Is parity good for the ACC? Dorsey and Riley take opposing sides and they battle it out right here on the set. That's coming up too.
What do you call a machine that combines precision engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side rebuild. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
I'm Jeff Fischel with another ACC Now and Then brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Last week, Mike Glennon led NC State over third-ranked Florida State in dramatic fashion. In 2001, another Wolfpack quarterback upset a top 10-ranked Seminoles squad as ACC all-time leading passer Phillip Rivers led NC State to a huge win in Tallahassee, 34-28. Go to rubytuesday.com/ACC to win 2 tickets and a VIP experience to the ACC Football Championship.
Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Enjoy our lobster and sirloin dinner only $14.99 for a limited time.
Good afternoon, Chase Sapphire. This is Stacy from Springfield.
Oh,
Hello?
Yes, I didn't realize you'd be talking to an actual person.
You don't need to press 0. I'm here.
Reach a person, not a prompt. Whenever you call Chase Sapphire.
For more on this 7th weekend of Atlantic Coast Conference football, tune in to the ACC Blitz powered by Ram. Host Tom Wormy and the coach, Tommy Bowden, will hand out midseason awards and sit down with Duke wideout Conor Vernon. They'll also look back at last week, and Coach Bowden makes his dadgum pick of the weeks. Yeah, it's true, they have a segment called Dadgum. So tune in at noon to the ACC Blitz powered by Ram. Check local listings for the station in your area.
Florida State trying to keep its undefeated season alive right now. That burden resting on the defense's collective shoulders. 4th and about 3 to go now. Given a little time, got the first down at the 28-yard line.
It's 4th and 10 coming up now. Noles by 6. State has it at the Noles 14-yard line.
Caught at the 3. And with a little more time and under heat. Almost picked off. Incomplete. And it's 4th and goal. Wow. For the upset.
Glennon awaits the shotgun snap. Underwood in motion. Glennon takes it. He looks, guns it over the middle. Caught, touchdown! Touchdown, Underwood! Touchdown, Wolfpack!
This is no fluke. They outplayed Florida State in the second half. They shut them out in the second half.
Joining me, they love you in Raleigh right now. NC State quarterback Mike Glennon led that comeback last week, the win over Florida State. This week you have a bye. First, Mike, let's go through it. 4th and goal, final seconds of the game. You guys need a touchdown. Take me through what you guys were feeling in the huddle and then the final play.
Well, I just wanted to make sure everyone in the huddle remained calm, that everyone just executed the play. And I know what I was thinking. I was thinking that we came too far to come 3 yards short from being the number 3 team in the country. So I thought it was a great call by Coach Bible, and we just executed the play. So it was a great feeling. And then it looks like there's a little bit too much time left on the clock when EJ made that first completion, but luckily things turned out just fine.
Yeah, I would say so. What an incredible win. As a quarterback, so much of the pressure is on you. Did you feel it on that last drive?
In a way. I mean, I try not to worry about it, but at the same time, I realize what's at stake, and I realize what the situation is, and that the quarterback needs to perform well in that particular situation. But my mentality is just trying to stay calm, relax, and not really think about the situation too much.
All right, so this had to be, though, the biggest win you've ever had, right?
I mean, I'd say so. I've never played the number 3 team in the country, so.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so it's been a good week, right? Talk about what life has been like for Mike Glennon since Saturday night.
A lot more interviews, a lot more text messages than after a loss. But it's been fun. It's been great. It's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Now, everyone knows your coach, Tom O'Brien, one of the most serious guys in all of college football. Did he even crack a smile after the game?
Yeah, he was pretty excited in the locker room after the game. He showed some excitement, and it was definitely a different scene for him to show that much excitement.
So did he give you an extra day off or something as a reward?
I think it was going to be with a bye week that we were going to have a certain schedule no matter what.
Yeah, you guys have the bye this week. I'm sure fans are curious, what do football players do on a Saturday in October if they're not playing football? So what's Saturday like for you?
Well, it's finally a day to kind of just watch college football. It's something that I know we look forward to. It's just kind of kick back and relax and watch the rest of the games because normally we don't really get to do that. So I know I'm looking forward to watching all the big games the rest of this week, so it should be fun.
Let's look ahead to the Atlantic Division. You guys, with that win, it was so huge, but it was also very important for NC State's hopes of potentially winning the division, playing the conference championship game, right? A huge win in that sense, right, Mike?
Yeah, that was really important for us to be 1-1 in ACC again and beat Florida State. So we have to continue to play well and take it one game at a time, but we know that we're right back in the hunt for our division.
I know you want to win. What are your personal goals the rest of the way here in your senior year?
Honestly, just continue to improve, be a winning quarterback, and help us win an ACC championship. So just continue to improve each week and get better and be playing my best football at the end of the year.
Well, you guys are on target. If you win out, you guys control your destiny in the Atlantic Division. Mike Glennon, thanks so much for taking a few minutes. And again, congrats on the incredible win last Saturday, the upset over third-ranked Florida State. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Great talking to Mike again. NC State, Florida State, and Clemson now all have one conference loss. And let's not forget Maryland, undefeated. Raleigh, what do you think? Can NC State win the Atlantic?
I do. I really think they can because they really are starting to click on offense. And you saw what that defense did against a good Florida State offense. The only thing that concerns me, they've got to play their best football when they travel to Death Valley and play Clemson. I think that's going to be the make or break for NC State.
Dorsey, what do you think? Can NC State win this division?
I think it's possible. They're going to have to make some improvements, specifically on the offensive line, because Glennon is second to last getting sacked in the ACC, and defensively, they're last in pass defense in the ACC, which is kind of shocking when you have David Amerson back there. Those two areas improve, they got a shot.
I agree.
Yeah, the Wolfpack was my sleeper pick before the season started, but I must admit they did not look good early. I kind of jumped off after last week. Maybe they are as good as we thought they could be. If Tom O'Brien wants a division title, you know his Wolfpack probably cannot afford another conference loss after today's bye. At Maryland, then at North Carolina, home versus Virginia and Wake Forest. There you go, at Clemson on November 17th. How big does that one look? The winner of that game could at least have a share of the Atlantic Division title. With the upset over Florida State, NC State now controls its destiny in the conference. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. In the great tradition of Lincoln and Douglas, Scooby and Shaggy, Itchy and Scratchy, well, we've come to round 2 of 5 scheduled ACC Kickoff live debates. Let's welcome in the candidates, candidate Levens and candidate Skinner. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for sharing your vision of the country. Last week, a lively discussion on who will win the Coastal Division today. The topic, after NC State's win over Florida State, created a power vacuum. So, is parity good for the ACC? Or would it be better for the conference to have 1 or 2 global superpowers? Candidate Skinner, you have 30 seconds.
Well, first I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Moderator, for hosting us. No, the ACC does not need parity right now, and here's why. You have 2 teams in the top 25, 0 in the top 10 right now. Parity works when you have 4 or 5 teams in the top 25 and you're beating each other, but right now they don't. The rest of the conference is not holding their weight, but they're beating each other. And so it's just, you end up playing the infamous circle game of who beat who. And at the end of the day, you come down to, well, Florida State lost to NC State, who may later in the season lose to Georgia Tech, who lost to Middle Tennessee. So you can't have parity when the rest of the conference is not carrying their weight.
Candidate Levens, your response.
I'm going to have to disagree with candidate Skinner over here. I think parity is great for this league because anybody can win on any given Saturday, which makes ACC football must-see TV. Now, to go against you, now if you have one or two superpowers, right, that's no fun for anybody else in the league because those are the two teams that are going to win every single week, and they're probably going to blow out the other teams in the conference. Why not spread the wealth, let's say, amongst the middle class? If the superpowers are the elite, the wealthy, let's spread the wealth around the middle class because we tried that before in the past. Trickle down does not work.
Well, excuse me. Let me say this: it's the middle class. It's the middle of the pack teams that they want to say that the ACC is one of the best conferences in the country, but when you've got a 50th ranked team that's beating a 15th ranked team, it ends up being kind of a moot point. Everyone ends at about rank 30. So you don't have any recognition and credibility from the nation and from the country in terms of a conference standpoint. And that's what we need, because the ACC is not getting that credibility it needs in the last couple of years. And Florida State, dadgummit, we needed that win last week. Coach Bowden?
Coach Bowden. If Florida State, and let's say another powerhouse, Virginia Tech, who's been pretty powerful in the ACC, if they win every single weekend, who needs to watch the games? It's no fun. I think it's exciting that Duke has a chance to go up there and win and go to a bowl game since the first time since 1994. Can we give Duke some credit and stop talking about basketball for Duke? They got a chance. This is great for the conference. Everyone has a chance to win now. It helps recruiting because now Florida State, Virginia Tech aren't getting all the major recruits. Some of these guys can go to some of the smaller schools and let the little guy eat a little bit.
I agree with you on Duke. I'm a Duke fan. But look, yes, who's going to watch the game if 2 or 3 teams are winning? The entire nation, because you're going to be on national television playing at 8 o'clock when you've got a Florida State playing a Virginia Tech, and they're both top 10 in the country. But when you come in and Virginia Tech's having the year like they have and they played Florida State, the game gets watered down. They might get a 3:30 game, a 12 o'clock game, and you ain't getting the whole country watching that game.
So that's what I'm talking about. That's a very good point. If there is parity and there's no team in the top 5 in the ACC, doesn't the rest of the country start forgetting about the ACC?
Well, what I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be the same 2 teams who may be in the top 5 every year. Spread the wealth around. Maybe some other guys can be in the top 5. Maybe Georgia Tech can be. Maybe Wake Forest can be in the top 5. But this elitist attitude is what got the ACC in this situation the first go-round. Spread the love so everybody can have fun and feel like they're included, not just 2 powerhouses.
Did you notice he didn't answer your question directly? I mean, that's classic candidate or Levens.
Isn't parity good for the NFL, so why wouldn't it be good for the ACC?
Because they're NFL teams. Everybody's good in the NFL, but in college, not everybody's good. And right now, I don't like that question. I don't like that question.
You're dancing. You're dancing around the question just like I danced around my question.
You're trying to compare a Duke team to a Carolina Panthers team. You can't do it.
Okay.
Apples and oranges.
Yes,
Notre Dame's doing good, and that's good.
Notre Dame is coming into the conference. We know the Irish carry a lot of weight. 5 games a year in the ACC to come sometime soon. They're in the top 10 this year. Does that give the ACC some more, how would you politicians say it, street cred, Dorsey?
Absolutely, because they are in the national championship hunt. You know, their offense is playing well defensively. Manti Te'o is doing extremely well. It's bringing the ACC a little bit more into the spotlight. Now, we don't want them to be the powerhouse that Riley wants them to be. They're already a powerhouse. They don't need any help from you, Riley, or your people over there at campaign headquarters.
Let me say this. What did you do last Saturday around 8 or 9 o'clock? You watched the Notre Dame-Miami game. And Notre Dame, you know why it was on 8 o'clock primetime television? Number 1, because it's Notre Dame and they're nationally branded. But number 2, they're an undefeated top 10 team. And that's when you get the national spotlight. That's when you get all the eyes around the country watch you. And that's when you get credibility around the ACC. Thank you.
That's not necessarily true because Notre Dame has been on national TV every week for the last 20 years, regardless if they're in the top 25 or not.
But not of the magnitude of the game when they're undefeated. When they were getting killed, they could easily be on national TV and get a third of the viewers they're supposed to get or projected to get.
Gentlemen,
but when they're
for the
good,
second
a lot more
straight
people
week,
watch.
you've run over on time, which is great. I appreciate your time, candidate Levens and candidate Skinner. Thank you once again. I hope we've settled it. I hope there was no malarkey or stuff anywhere in there. Speaking about Notre Dame, let's look at their remaining schedule as they try to get a shot at a national title. 3 ranked teams left, including Stanford today. The ACC gets a shot at Notre Dame in November, BC and Wake, and even future ACC member Pitt. Overall, the Irish's schedule is so tough, you have to think they have a very good shot at getting into that national title game if they can keep winning. Fear the turtle, fear the turtle. Maryland using true freshmen and a shutdown defense to prove the doubters wrong. Today, taking on a Virginia team that's reeling. That's next.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, videos, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps. I'm Jeff Fischel with another ACC Now and Then brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Last week, Mike Glennon led NC State over third-ranked Florida State in dramatic fashion. In 2001, another Wolfpack quarterback upset a top 10-ranked Seminoles squad as ACC all-time leading passer Phillip Rivers led NC State to a huge win in Tallahassee, 34-28. Go to rubytuesday.com/ACC. Win 2 tickets and a VIP experience to the ACC Football Championship.
Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Enjoy our lobster and sirloin dinner only $14.99 for a limited time.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Where does a great night out get even better? At the new Ruby Tuesday with our steak and lobster dinner for only $14.99. We've combined sweet lobster, steakhouse sirloin, and our free garden bar. Hurry in. This perfect pairing ends soon. The new Ruby Tuesday.
Our first look today at Scott Stadium, Maryland at Virginia. The Terps leading the Atlantic right now after opening the conference last week with a 19-14 win over Wake Forest. Maryland, one of the real surprises in the conference. Give credit to a defense that's one of the best in the country. The Terps lead the all-time series against Virginia, 42-32-2. And Riley, hey, this is a golden opportunity for Maryland to go 2-0, right, and prove that everyone's on board with Randy Edsall.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is everyone's buying into this program and what Randy Edsall's doing. That's what I like to see with this win and what that can do. But what they need to do if they want to get a win against Virginia, play to the strength of your team, and that's your defense. You have one of the best defenses headed by Joe Villano on the defensive line. On offense, you don't have to be conservative, but you don't have to be over-aggressive and try to score 30, 40 points a game because your defense has your back. So play to your strength, and if they can get a win in this border rivalry, I think it'll do a lot for that program and propel them to the second half of the season.
And remember, this team was 2-10 last year. Now we're talking about them being in first place. Maryland's offense, meanwhile, one of the most dynamic young players in all of college football, Stephon Diggs. Now check this out from EA Sports. This is great. Dorsey with true freshman Perry Hills at QB. Maryland's trying to find ways to take the pressure off him, but still create opportunities for the big play.
Yeah, and they're doing a pretty good job. I think the key to getting to Stephon Diggs the ball is just make sure he's in open space because he's incredible after the catch. So you want to get a guy who can make plays after the catch. Here, just a simple out route like Riley talked about a few weeks ago, a crossing pattern is what offense calls it. Defense likes to call it a pick. You just want to create some space here, have the outside receiver go across, create some confusion, or as a pick, like we said, get him outside the offense, let him make plays with his feet. Next coming up, what you want to do is spread the guys out wide so you can't have two safeties back there and just run them down the field on a corner route, pure speed, and see if he can't beat a guy one-on-one. As you can see, there's no safety help over the top. Send them deep, let them make a play. Real simple math.
Thanks to EA Sports for that. Again, every week we get great stuff from them. A great look at one of today's games. Today, Maryland taking on a Cavs offense that's really struggling, 10th in the conference in scoring. Phillip Sims, his second start at quarterback. Dorsey, what's gone wrong in Charlottesville so far this year? 2-4 to start the year.
So much has gone wrong, particularly on offense at the quarterback position. Obviously, Michael Rocco starts off the season as the incumbent coming in, expecting big things, and then he turns the ball over a whole lot. So we go to backup quarterback Phillip Sims, who played pretty well in backup duty, but not so much as a starter. The running backs, Perry Jones and Kevin Parks, not really playing as well as we thought they would as well. Haven't found the go-to receiver. Defensively, they're an absolute mess. They're last in interceptions. They last in turnover margin. They're 11th in scoring and defense in the ACC. And they're last in punt return yards and kickoff coverage on special teams. They've got problems across the board.
Well, and also to add to the wide receiver, I think Tim Smith and Darius Jennings are questionable for this game. And Phillip Sims not getting much held on the outside, the wide receiver position.
Even during the Cavs' 4-game losing streak, one of the team leaders has made sure that at the very least, they look very good. Kelly, I had no idea E.J. Scott was such a fashionista.
That's right. They're this close to getting this guy a sewing machine. So long story short, the Virginia captains are responsible for picking the uniform combinations every week. But it leaked out that E.J. Scott, the sophomore wide receiver, has actually been chirping in their ear week after week which combos will go best together. But you know what? Since he's leading the receiving corps in touchdowns with 2, nobody is complaining. Now, Riley, a lot of talk about uniforms these days. Something to be made of it or just a lot of filler?
You know, I don't like that he gets this because when I was a senior, we got to pick the uniforms. And I was a starting quarterback for 3 years. My 4th year, this is the year I get to pick the uniform every Saturday. Brandon G. and Boo Robinson, our cornerback and our defensive lineman, they said I had no style and would not let me pick. I don't like this. He cannot do that. E.J. Scott needs to let the seniors pick. They've waited long enough. I hate that. I've got style, Kelly. Let me.
So, Kelly, here you go.
Very
what do you
frustrating.
think? Has he cleaned himself up? Who has the best fashion sense here on the set?
Well, I'm going to use Dorsey's phrase, spreading the love, and I'm actually going to spread it to candidate Skinner. He was raised by a house full of women. You can't go wrong there.
It's very true. That's very true. I got the pocket square, the tie clip.
It's perfect. Love the combo.
Awesome.
You look good on set, but apparently when it comes to picking out football uniforms, no clue.
It really hurt me, though, deep down. They just said I had no fashion sense and gave me no love, no say in the uniforms. Unfortunate. That's why we went 5-7 my senior year.
Who dresses you now?
My wife.
All right.
Not me.
Not that you've grown out of the Garanimals.
Exactly.
Kelly, by the way, thank you. How good has Duke been so far? Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina are the only ACC teams with a better scoring differential this season. This one at 12:30 on the ACC Network. Steve Martin and Dave Archer will call the game. They have a preview.
Well, thanks, Jeff. There's a homecoming parade rolling through Blacksburg, Virginia, as the Virginia Tech Hokies take on the Blue Devils of Duke. And, of course, can Duke continue this wondrous season? They're 5-1. They've had an easy non-conference, but they've won 2 conference games in a row. An impressive win against Virginia last week. But today, the test will be on the quarterback, whoever plays that quarterback spot for Duke this afternoon.
Yeah, normally it's Sean Renfrey, a guy that we saw a couple of weeks ago, Steve, that was injured. He had been having an outstanding season up to this point, 71% completion, but he was injured on this play against Wake Forest. Blitzing safety comes off the edge, hyperextends the elbow. Now, Renfrey tried to come back in, but Anthony Boone came in. He played extremely well in that game, and last week was phenomenal. But whoever plays quarterback for Duke will have one mission, and that's to get this guy the football. Conor Vernon. This kid is tough. He will fight you tooth and nail for every yard, for every catch. His experience is a huge thing. His ability to catch the back shoulder and throw, understand where coverage is going to be, and ultimately his speed fools everybody on game day. He's faster than you think he is. He finds his way into the end zone.
And he's the ACC's leading all-time receiver in terms of catches, passing Aaron Kelly a couple of weeks ago. Now, as far as Virginia Tech is concerned, getting on the plus side means getting some production both in the air and on the ground from Logan Thomas, who had a career day last week with 354 yards through the air.
Well, Logan Thomas is a guy that they've hung everything on, and nobody else has really stepped up around me. But Logan Thomas had a career day, as you mentioned, a week ago throwing the football. What he needs is more of this. Corey Fuller's catching the touchdowns, and he also needs to crank the ground game up as well. They're going to put some other people in around him. You'll see J.C. Coleman at running back. He's an outstanding speed guy, but make no mistake, Logan Thomas is the key to whatever Virginia Tech's going to be on offense.
Usually at homecoming, you're bringing in an opponent that'll make the alumni happy. That may not be the case today in Blacksburg, Jeff.
Gentlemen, thank you. Homecoming. Watch out for the Delta Deathmobile. Time now to talk about what Duke's got going for the rest of the season. 6 remaining games. Virginia Tech, UNC, Florida State, Clemson, Georgia Tech, and the season finale at home versus Miami. Dorsey, you mentioned this stat earlier. The Blue Devils against those 6 teams since their last bowl game, 4-72, that last bowl game after the 1994 season. Time now for our Ruby Tuesday mid-season report cards. I'd give Duke an A-. I think they could have put up a better fight at Stanford, but other than that, how can you knock them? So let's hand out grades for the 4 teams who have a week off. Dorsey, let's start with your alma mater, Georgia Tech, 2-4.
Yeah, 2-4. So I guess I'm going to have to give them a D because they're 2-4. Although 2 of those losses were overtime losses to quality ACC opponents, but then they laid an egg to Middle Tennessee, basically got blown out. But the D, in essence, is for defense. They're pretty bad right now. They're 11th in the ACC in pass defense. They're 9th in total defense. Missed assignments all over the place. They had 47 missed assignments in the Clemson game, which ultimately led to Al Groh being fired. Anytime a coordinator is fired halfway through a season, you got major problems.
And we've seen them, certainly. All right, Riley, NC State.
I'm going to give them a B+, and here's why. Number one, their win last week, comeback against Florida State, and their defense showed up for the first time in a while. But also, their offense is starting to click. They're really starting to fire on all cylinders. But why not a better grade than a B+? The loss to Tennessee to start the season on the national stage, and then letting Miami come back in the fourth quarter, and that crazy finish, but still, they laid an egg there.
Dorsey, Clemson so far, your grade.
I'm going to go with Clemson. I'm going to give them an A- because they did lose the one tough game on the road against a tough Florida State team. Offensively, they're first in the ACC, doing extremely well. I think this offense, if Sammy Watkins can get back on track and put up the type of numbers that we think he can put up, there's no reason why this offense shouldn't be just like West Virginia's, except with a better run game. On the flip side of that, their defense, still the same old struggling defense. They have to get better on that side of the ball. Special teams, they're doing great, but I think they got a chance to make some noise because there is so much parity in this league. They still got a shot to reach a lot of their goals.
Riley, your school, Wake Forest.
Ooh, it hurts, but I'm going to go ahead and I got to give them a C-. I mean, their offense right now has been the most surprising. They really have been not very productive in the last 3 to 4 weeks. And Tanner Price, who I thought was going to be one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the conference this year, has not played the way they should. And also, having 5 of your starters suspended for team violation rules, that's just disappointing when you see somebody not putting your team first and putting yourself in front of your team. So I got to give them a C-. And the loss to Maryland last week was kind of the icing on the cake for that one.
Okay. How would you grade your school? And do you agree with these guys and the grades they've given? Tweet us at the ACCDN. Let us know what you think about how your team has played so far this year and why you would give them the grade you'd give them. All right, it's that time, Saturday selections. And if we were giving a report card for that, Riley, you'd be repeating a grade, right? 4 conference games. We'll
Not
see what
good.
Dorsey and Riley are predicting about today. Next.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side rebuild. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
At the Jeep Summer Clearance event, you can make this summer your time. Time to find your power and lose your doubts. Time to steer clear of the ordinary and make room for the extraordinary. Just like the deals you'll find at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app presented by Carrabba's. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Visit theacc.com/apps.
I'm Jeff Fischel with another ACC Now and Then brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Last week, Mike Glennon led NC State over third-ranked Florida State in dramatic fashion. In 2001, another Wolfpack quarterback upset a top 10-ranked Seminoles squad as ACC all-time leading passer Phillip Rivers led NC State to a huge win in Tallahassee, 34-28. Go to rubytuesday.com/ACC to win 2 tickets and a VIP experience to the ACC Football Championship.
Brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Enjoy our lobster and sirloin dinner only $14.99 for a limited time.
Good afternoon, Chase Sapphire. This is Stacy from Springfield.
Oh,
Hello?
Yes, I didn't realize you'd be talking to an actual person.
You don't need to press 0. I'm here.
Reach a person, not a prompt, whenever you call Chase Sapphire.
Close to kickoff in Blacksburg, Duke and Virginia Tech. We could see Duke coach David Cutcliffe use both Sean Renfree and Anthony Boone. Cutcliffe clearly comfortable with Boone. On a radio show this week, he said Boone has swag. He said it. Let's take a look back at last Saturday.
Snap to Ellington. Hopkins throws to Boyd. Chad Morris doesn't get much sleep.
This kid's got speed. Look at him go. There's one to beat, and he's going to beat it. Burns on the jacks. He's going to go all the way for six.
And the Duke Blue Devils are 5-1. Over, in.
He's going all the way for a touchdown.
Taj Boyd has just broken the school record here at Clemson. He has 50 career touchdown passes.
And you look at the end zone. Touchdown.
There goes Orwin Smith. Another huge run.
Darrell Roberts has found a pair of scissors on the field. You want to land on that the wrong way.
Not the X's and O's. It's the Jimmies and Joes.
For the upset. Glennon. Touchdown Wolfpack. Underwood.
This is no fluke. They outplayed Florida State in the second half.
They shut them out in the second half.
Time now for our Saturday selections. After 6 weeks, Riley, it does not look good. You're 6-9. Dorsey leading the way at 9-6. The fans 8-7. So Riley has some ground to make up for sure. So let's find out what he can come up with this week. First up, in Blacksburg. So as Cutcliffe would say, does Duke have swag? Can the Blue Devils beat Virginia Tech? Dorsey.
It's possible, but I doubt it. In America, why would you vote for a candidate that has a losing record? He has a worse record than even the fans. Why would you want a guy like that in charge?
I'm just too loyal to wait sometimes
of the ACC world? Why would you want a guy like this?
So Dorsey clearly picking the Hokies, and Riley, you're taking?
I'm going the Hokies. I think history's going to repeat itself. I'm sold on Duke, but I don't think athletically they're going to be able to keep up with Virginia Tech.
Okay, so not quite enough swag, apparently.
Not close.
Okay, North Carolina and Miami. Dorsey, who are you picking?
I'm going with North Carolina. I just don't think that they can stop Gio Bernard in that run game. I picked Miami to win the conference because North Carolina is not eligible. I think North Carolina will win this game, though.
I hate agreeing with him. Because
apparently you should agree with him more. You might do better.
I know, but I'm going North Carolina as well. I mean, you have to look at the obvious, and it's Gio Bernard, probably the best running back in the ACC versus the by far worst defense in Miami. I go UNC.
The border war, Maryland and Virginia. Dorsey, who do you like?
I like Maryland. I like their defense, and Virginia's offense is struggling. Their defense is struggling. They're just a mess right now.
Then we can finally disagree. I'm going Virginia. It's homecoming in Charlottesville. You've got the retro jerseys. They got a lot of swag, but I think Phil Simms, he's going to have, it's his second start, and I think he's going to get a little more comfortable. We're going to see the quarterback, why he was the #1 dual-threat quarterback coming out of high school.
So you're saying he keeps the job for the rest of the season?
I think so.
Okay, last game, BC and Florida State. Dorsey, who do you like?
I like Florida State to rebound and get back on track against Boston College.
Florida State, I think they come out angry, and I think they come out aggressive, and I hope they do. And I want to see them put up 40-plus points. I'm going Florida State.
That BC defense, by the way, has as good as the linebackers have been for the Eagles. That front four has really struggled, so that could be a day for Florida State going.
That's why
big
they are
on the ground.
leading the ACC in tackle.
That could be very well. Okay, Kelly, we know who Dorsey and Riley are picking. Who are the fans picking on Facebook?
We do. Here we go. Here's the lineup, guys. Now, Duke at Virginia Tech. Fans, this one was close. They picked the Hokies. UNC at Miami. Same result. Go Heels. BC at Florida State. All votes went to Florida State. And to the one that really mattered between the fist bump votes, Maryland at Virginia. 69% picked Maryland. So guess what? It's a chilly day out there across ACC country. But Dorsey Levens, you have made your Georgia Tech fans all warm and fuzzy inside because you are correct and you get the fist pump, buddy. Yeah.
Back at you, Kels. I appreciate that. Bam. Yeah.
Dorsey now also leading in fist bumps this year. Again.
Those are skewed.
You can't vote for a loser, man. You're not going to win this election.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
You better start running right now. Kelly, thank you. Let's do one more look at all of today's ACC games. We are just about 30 minutes away from Duke and Virginia Tech. We talked about all the storylines. A win with Duke. They get their 6th win of the season to become bowl eligible, not to mention potentially going into first place by the end of the day in their division. At 2:30 on ESPNU, North Carolina at Miami. At 3 on regional sports networks, Maryland and Virginia. Then Boston College goes into Tallahassee at 5:30. No doubt the Noles will be very angry and upset about how they performed last week. Remember, fans, follow us all day on YouTube. Follow us at the ACCDN on Twitter. Remember, the best highlights, the must-see moments, and we'll have great analysis from Dorsey and Riley all day here on the ACCDN, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Thanks for watching ACC Kickoff Live with Dorsey, Levens, Riley Skinner. I'm Jeff Fischel. Have a great Saturday of ACC football.